I mean, you can't go on social media without falling over an Ian Garry attack. Everyone seems to be out for that man's blood. Dillon Danis joined the fray today. Brendan Allen dropped some bombshell news on an interview he did with ESPN UFC. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to talk a little bit about this tweet. Before I do, if you could hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. We're growing numbers here. We're calling people out and we're avoiding defamation and lawsuits. That's what we're doing. That's what we're in the business of doing. Let's just jump into it here. So over the last couple of months, we've seen Dillon Danis have a resurgence on social media. People got on board with what he was selling, and basically that included getting up every morning, posting some pictures that were in the public sphere, as we all talked about this weekend, and he would accompany them tweets with the words morning and possibly a love heart. And today we woke up and it was Ian Garry's wife who happened to have slid into his DMs. I had to check the date straight away. It was November 17, 2018. And it was right around the time when there was satirical books being written about how to gain yourself a nice little sports star and be the wife of that person. So she sent him the old prayer emoji. He responded with, "Where are you from?" "England, but half Brazilian." "How are you today?" "Very cool, doing great." "Where do you live?" That's the end of the message. Seems like a nothing burger. But is there more context to this? Is this just a satirical tweet from Dillon Danis? Or is there going to be a follow-up to this tomorrow? You can be guaranteed that there are so many people sitting on the edge of their seat waiting for Dillon Danis' next morning tweet, and I'm one of the guys that's looking forward to it. I think it's very funny. If you ask me what this direct message was about, I can get myself into trouble talking about it. I mean, how many other sports stars out there do you think Layla and Ali text before she finally found Ian Garry and someone actually responded? It's an interesting one to think about. Ian Garry is not leaving the headlines anytime soon. I saw Chael Sonnen talk about him possibly not bothering to show up to the press conference for UFC 296 because Colby Covington would be there. And don't you know that Colby Covington, if he can do it, he'll carry in a copy of How to Be a Wag. And I don't see Ian Garry escaping the onslaught during that press conference or the run up to it either. And over here we have this story. Brendan Allen was on ESPN MMA and he was talking about training. The dude is legit. He was asked about Ian Garry. Let's have a little listen to what he said.
Ian Garry versus Vicente Luque. These are both teammates of yours for a time. I know Ian Garry is no longer with that team. A little emotional for the guys in the gym for this one.
I'm going to pause it right there. And I'm going to run it back 5 seconds. We could stop the video right now, not carry on. And that little smirk from Brendan Allen tells 1,000 stories. Holy shit. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I would guarantee you that there is so many UFC fighters that are just bursting at the seams now to unload their stories of Ian Garry and his management team being so obnoxious and being just unbearable to be around. I bet you any money that there is guys out there right now on the edge of their seat and they're thinking, Sean Strickland is going in on these guys. Brendan Allen is going in on these guys. Everybody is telling the truth. That's what it's all about, right? We're just getting the truth out there. So let's go back 5 seconds and see that little smirk.
Ian Garry versus Vicente Luque. These are both teammates of yours for a
go.
time. I know Ian Garry is no longer with that team. A little emotional for the guys in the gym for this one.
I wouldn't say emotional. It's just like finally guys get to see their true colors. Oh no, you can say what you want, man. Like anyone can say what they want about guys who jump from gym to gym to gym to gym to gym. But man, to me, if you're a gym, like I think it's a really move to leave the gym and then literally ask for somehow it comes about that you're going to fight a guy that you were training with. And Vicente's one of the nicest guys ever. Like, you don't talk about.
Gathering what he said there was, it's a little bit of a shitty move to be in a gym, jump from gym to gym, be a gym whore, and when you leave, coincidentally, you get a fight with someone that you were just training with. Now, we know that the welterweight division is stacked and there's only so many people that are up there and there's people getting tied up left, right and centre. But are we being led to believe that Brendan Allen thinks that there's something conspicuous going on with the matchmaking at UFC between Ian Garry, who just left Killcliff, and Vicente Luque? Interesting. I thought that was an interesting take.
Vicente's one of the nicest guys ever. Like, he don't talk about nobody. He barely even talks in the gym, and you have to ask him questions to get him to talk.
Again, these are the stories that come out about certain fighters, and you see Vicente Luque's career, you see what he's done, you know what type of fighter he is, and then you hear them stories that he doesn't really talk to anyone in the gym, just goes in, gets his work done. We see that he converted to Christianity just recently, and Ian Garry laughed and mocked it live on Instagram when other UFC fighters were jumping in saying, "Congratulations." Ian Garry jumps in and starts talking shit. You hear these stories of him being in the gym and he's got to be encouraged to talk. That's the fucking type of dude that I want to get behind. That's the type of dude that I want to see elevated to the top echelons of the UFC. What the hell is going on? Why are we getting guys like Paddy Pimblett and Ian Garry rising to the top?
Wow. Okay,
I
so there's
don't know.
a little bit of heat on him at the gym.
I mean, that's just my personal feelings. I'm not going to speak for anyone else in the gym. I just think I think he's whack. Like, I think he's young. I think he's misled. I, I think he talks way too much, but I understand he's trying to be like Connor. But man, there's only one Connor. Sorry, there's one Connor. And he or no one right now in the realm is going to top Connor. So I don't know. I guess I just come from a different way of life.
How can you watch this interview with Brendan Allen and not like him? How can you not watch him in the octagon? How can you not see the BJJ skills in full force against the likes of a Paul Craig and not be like, dude, this guy is awesome. This guy's a future champion, 100%. And then you see him talking in interviews like this and he's talking about, I'm from a different time. I don't want to talk about social media. I don't want 50 cameras following me around. And you're just like, oh man. It's like you're hearing stories about Vicente Luque. You're hearing stories about Tom Aspinall. You're hearing stories from Brendan Allen and you're like, yes, these are the guys. I understand that it's show business and we have to have people that we hate and we have to have people that we love. And in the middle, there's guys like Tom Aspinall and Brendan Allen. People keep talking about how elite Ian Garry is and he's a future champion and he's going to be a dominant one, a dominant champion. And we don't hear that sort of heat following people like Brendan Allen or Tom Aspinall. To an extent we do, but I just wish that we heard more from these type of guys than we did from Ian Garry, man. And I wish that people didn't froth at the mouth at the idea of him being champion. First of all, he would be so obnoxious as a champion. Oh my God, imagine it. But second of all, and if we're talking about his skills, we know that he's been rocked a few times. We know the chin has been up in the air a few times. I personally don't even look at the Neil Magny fight as this like elite clinic that he put on a UFC veteran. I don't even look at it like that. You actually go back and you look at previous fights with Neil Magny, Gilbert Burns, Shavkat, Daniel Rodriguez. There is so many low kicks where he gets buckled, where we see him limping around on one leg. So it's not like this was a revolutionary kick that Ian Garry landed on him and nobody else had done it to him.
Kind of against my morals, I guess you could say, or like what I feel is right and wrong. And yeah, he just talks too much. Like I said, I just think he's young and misled. I guess he'll find his one way or another, whether it's good or bad. I feel like he was at a turning point where he could go down one road and still be a good person. I think now he's going down the other way where he's like a Colby Covington type of thing. It kind of sucks because like he was a nice guy, but I feel like it's one thing to play a persona like Colby does, and behind closed doors they say he's a really nice guy, really quiet. I don't know, I've never met him, but I've met Ian. I know Ian, and you can put this persona on, but actions speak louder than words.
First of all, he begins it by talking about morals and being a good person. This is something that most people would look at and think that it is a naive way of thinking, but it really isn't. If you hold some solid morals and you abide by them, you will have a better life. And when you go the opposite way of that, you might think that it means nothing. You might think that there's a black hole of nihilism and we all come from nothing. Whatever you believe in, it'll come back around. You reap what you sow. And that seems to be what's happening to Ian Garry at the moment. There was a path laid out for him and there was a choice. You had the choice, red pill or blue pill. Which one did you go for? He decided to take the blue pill and went down this crazy path. A delusional spot where he thinks something is real, but it isn't. It's almost like Colby Covington playing the character, but so many people say that when he's not playing that character, he's a nice guy. Actions speak louder than words is what Brendan Allen says here. So by that equation, we are led to believe that he ain't a nice guy. Absolutely not. This isn't the character that he's playing. This dude is legitimately obnoxious.
Someone posted a video of Shavkat and Jason wrestling. I was there on that day. I watched it. I was 2 feet from it. One, I feel how I feel about the video, but two, I think he commented somewhere on there. I heard someone say he commented somewhere on there. And it's like, he records everything, right? Like they record everything. But just know there's video, and he knows what name not to say to let it come out of what happened to him. I'm not going to release it, but just know there is someone in that gym that has slept him out.
There you have it. Somebody in the gym slept him out cold and there's a video of it. Holy shit. Who's got the video? Somebody put out that video. Oh my god, somebody put out that video. So here we have a couple of boys that are fighting over in Killcliff. Which one of these lads put him out cold? Luke Rockhold, Kamaru Usman, Michael Chandler, Shavkat? Was it Rafael Visi, Vicente Luque, Derek Brunson, Gilbert Burns? Which one of these boys put him out? Which one of these boys have the video? I must see it. Somebody's got to put it out there. Genie, let's go.
Oh, everyone knows how good he is striking and how good he is here and this and that and this and that. Everyone has their days. Hell, he's probably got the better of me a couple sparring sessions, but there's many sparring sessions I did what I did too. So I don't know. I think like it's just a lot of talk, and it's hard to say gym to fighting.
Is it just me, or is it everything that comes out of Brendan Allen's mouth is common sense and makes you like him even more? He's talking about, listen, he's probably got the better of me in sparring sessions, but there's definitely times where I've done what I've done. He's not even coming out, man. He's got the humility not even to say things like, well, I put the beating on him as well. Compare this Brendan Allen interview to any interview with Ian Garry. It's night and day.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It really rubs me the wrong way of how much he talks, but more so what he says. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard for even me to put it in words of how stupid I think he is for doing those things. But again, it's exactly the same scenario of selling your soul to the devil for money. You got his girl telling him what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And he's just, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. So that's why I just think he's misled. But
to tie in the entire interview, saying that his wife tells him what to do, he's a yes man, he is sold his soul to the devil. And now he's getting repaid over and over again by people attacking him left, right and centre on social media. Dillon Danis might possibly have a new tweet tomorrow. We don't know. Brendan Allen totally and utterly sank him. This is an interesting day. Let me know your thoughts down below. Cheers.